Hello, hello. What's up, everyone? Welcome to our live preview of the next feature releases for the Gotchiverse. I'm Gravy, Pixelcraft Studios head of marketing, and today I'll be joined by Aavegotchi co-founder Jesse Johnson, aka Golden Cross. We are thrilled to confirm over the next 20 to 30 minutes details on not only one but two major releases for the month of May. The first will focus on social features and will be followed by the much anticipated land release. Join us now for our live stream to learn what's just ahead for Gotchiverse early adopters. And with that, welcome Golden Cross.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. And couldn't be more excited to talk about these two major releases and what basically is coming after our first month of the Gotchiverse Alpha being live. So if we think about it, this published article, we literally just published it now, so you're free to follow along at blog.aavegotchi.com. And through this article, we go through the two major releases, and we actually start by talking about where we came from, right? So if we go down here, and we talk about the success of the first month. And yes, the Gotchiverse is an alpha release, but those first 30 days were incredibly exciting. I think you would agree, right, Gravy? It's gone pretty well.
Absolutely. I think it's been a lot more exciting than I could have ever anticipated. And I'm happy to be along for the ride.
Yeah. It was known as the play drop on Twitter. If you hashtag play drop, you'll see this innovative token distribution model where literally it's a fair launch. There's no pre-mine, there's no VC allocations, no founder allocations. All the Alchemica, the 4 play-to-earn tokens in the Gotchiverse, only exist in circulation due to those who came in to play over the last 30 days and earn and collect these various Alchemica tokens known as FUD, FOMO, Alpha, and KEK. Side note, pretty cool. They're easier to find every day. QuickSwap just listed them on their exchange, their DEX. So Polygon's busiest DEX just made it that much easier to find these for. Bear in mind that it's a baby token, brand new, and so no liquidity, but they're there. So they're bouncing around. But what we go with next is the big question, right? Like what follows this 30-day play drop? That had a very scheduled release of tokens, something to the tune of north of 500,000 FUD tokens a day. And then you work your way down from there to the rarest token, KEK. It kind of all played out according to a very clear play drop schedule. The parts that weren't clear was how many players would show up to play the game. And it's been amazing that we've seen over 4,000 players competing simultaneously for these rewards at any given moment in the Gotchiverse. I think we've had days that peaked out around 4,400. And one of the cool things about the Gotchiverse is the custom built backend that we're modeling to deliver a true metaverse experience where players are not fractured across multiple instances, where, like Gravy, say you're meeting me at the temple, and we're both standing in front of the temple, but I don't see you. That's because you're on instance 5 and I'm on different servers, aka instance 10. So we don't actually get to talk to each other. That really breaks the whole feel and illusion of a true metaverse. So we've built a custom backend, and we're thrilled that it's currently supporting over 4,000 players live on one instance. So very powerful stuff, and it's just the beginning. That's going to continue to scale as we optimize. And yeah, so there's that. There's the guilds coming in huge numbers. Gotchi Vault, one of the biggest community-run projects that really supports a lot of automation and asset management in the Gotchi ecosystem, just recently reported well over 50,000 lending contracts that have gone through just their contracts. So that's huge, right? That's a lot of different players, new players, and communities coming in and borrowing Aavegotchis so that they can access this game. So if you're listening to this and you don't have an Aavegotchi, no fear. There's this thing called Gotchi Lending and services like the Gotchi Vault that make it incredibly powerful for you or your guild to have primo asset management from the start and have a frictionless way to jump into the Gotchiverse. So that's gone incredibly well. And then, of course, we've had the limited edition NFT releases like the golden altar. And maybe we have an image of that, Gravy. Do we have the golden altars, golden tiles, I guess?
Yeah, the golden tiles, the beautiful golden golden tiles.
Le golden tiles. The first one is dropped here just a few days ago. Two more are coming. These are decorative OG pieces that can only be crafted in game for a limited time, 2 weeks each, and very successful. I think over 1,000, well over 1,000 Le Golden Tile number 1 have already been crafted, aka minted, by players in the game. So that's pretty powerful. There's also the Golden Altar, which dropped first. That one is even more difficult to obtain, right? The crafting recipe is pretty significant, and but they're doing great. There's a ton of those that are going out, and guilds are rallying around to pool their treasury and get themselves some of these rare limited edition versions of the altar. The altar has a lot of utility, unlike the tiles, and we'll get into that in a minute, and how the altars are going to start having we're going to start flexing those altars here in the upcoming land release. So I guess this is the time to segue from what we've done to what follows the play drop. And if we kick it off here with May 2nd, coming right around the corner, will be the Gotchiverse social release, aka GotchiGang mode. And so this is key because we currently don't have any in-game chat, right? We don't have any in-game communication other than some cute little emojis that you can fire off in talk bubbles as you pass by somebody in the game, which is cool. But we are a DAO built game, and there's this idea that this is yet another platform. If it's going to be a metaverse, it's got to be competitive, but it's also got to be social, and we got to have shared moments and kind of a social aspect, strictly social. So the play drop's over. The next issuance is GotchiGang mode, and I believe we can actually show you what the first experiments with social gaming will be. And so we're going to crank down the volume on the play to earn aspect, that kind of frantic Easter egg hunt play that we know and have come to know and love. We're going to put that onto the side, still have some play to earn instances, but they're going to be event driven and social gathering driven. And they're going to be empowered with a social experience around it, with the chat rooms blowing up and things like that. So let's reveal what the UI will look like on May 2nd when we ship the first iteration of chat. There we go. So what are we looking at here? We're actually seeing a chat box in the lower left corner of your gameplay. And you'll notice, like, okay, there's two gotchis talking. One says, how is chat going? The other one says, not bad. The other guy says, cool, screenshot it. That must be some of Pixelcraft's devs there working hard on this. And the thing you might notice, Gravy, is there's kind of two things at the top, right, of that chat box. And
Yes.
so this is kind of my favorite part. We've got the Citadel and the district chat. So you're going to have two ways to chat in this world, and simultaneously you can just bounce between the two. So if you're on Citadel chat, this is the main chat room. It's accessible at all times, and it takes a lot of inspiration from the classic troll boxes of crypto's past. If you ever were on like old school Poloniex exchange in the troll box, it's just this flow of consciousness. Kind of the heartbeat of the Citadel will be there in that Citadel wide chat. And hopefully this will be a space for the community to see timely information, communicate, and of course, share some humor. Then you got the district chat, and this is really the first time we get to in-game emphasize and differentiate between different districts. So different guilds are setting up in different districts. And once the land release happens, we'll expand from 2 districts to over 30. So this is where, each district is actually set up to be more of a sub-DAO. And while this is just the first layer of that cake, communication is where it starts. So you'll be able to host, events in your district and start talking more frequently with your nearest neighbors. So this is how you start connecting with those in your neighborhood and building a rapport with them and getting to know one another. So that's going to be
This is a pretty cool concept. I do have one question real quick, if you could help on that. So if you're bouncing around in the Citadel or in the Gotchiverse and you're in District 23 and you hop over to the district next door, does that auto-populate into this chat box and now you can chat with everybody in that district?
Yeah, it's going to be based. The idea is that it will be based on whatever district you're physically standing in. Your Gotchi is in District 23, then you have access to a real-time flow of conversation in District 23. If you hop over the border and next thing you know, you're in District 22, that tab there will just update, and now you're looking at all the conversation happening in D22.
Awesome.
Meanwhile, the Citadel just never ends, and it's pervasive across the whole gameplay map.
Awesome.
Yep. So that's like what we can expect on May 2nd. There is an important aspect to this. In the blog, we write about how DAOs are social. And so I kind of alluded to this. The two chat modes should be viewed as a first iteration. There's plenty of room for experimentation. As always, with all updates, we want the DAO to be giving live feedback. I would highly suggest even just making shared working docs. Sometimes the DAO, we have conversation in the Discord or even the forum, and it's not quite enough. We can just open up a Google Doc, start contributing ideas, feedback, and it will lead to better and stronger proposals. And then, as Pixelcraft, we're reacting and iterating on top of this first release all the time. So things like adding emojis and just quality of life additions to what we have here is one way. But then we also want to experiment, and maybe there's totally other ways to communicate, like having talk bubbles appear right over the Aavegotchi. We've looked into that a little bit and scratched the surface. But on May 2nd, we're going to start with a focus on the districts, really let the neighborhoods talk amongst themselves, and also unlock that Citadel chat.
Awesome.
Yep. And so, this is the part here about how DAOs are social. Let's build it together. But I think people will be wondering how much Alchemica and where is it coming from during this 2-week period. It's roughly 2 weeks. And it's going to be basically event driven. Instead of just, constant spawning of Alchemica, we're going to have some events. And this will be just a big, big party, a very good time where we'll have lots of Alchemica spawning in a short span of time. So the first one here, to lock it in, mark on your calendars, the first Alchemica Party is going to be Saturday during the normal GotchiGang hangout time. We usually all meet in the Discord and kind of have a chill mode there in our Discord. We'll be able to continue to do that. We'll be on voice chat in the Discord as usual. But let's also open up our Gotchiverse logins and meet in District 23 for a celebration of the Gotchiverse progress so far. So this is our first kind of social hybrid experience with in-game chat, Discord voice chat, Alchemica spawning, and who knows, maybe even a friendly game of King of the Hill. And Gravy, do you want to guess what I mean by that?
I don't know. Does it have anything to do with maybe yesterday?
There was a reaction. The heart mode got unlocked very briefly yesterday. It's totally unplanned. That's a different story. But it's the interesting part is everybody kind of loved it. And what this is, it goes way back to our earliest stress tests where people were actually able to do PvP mode and not just have a peaceful collection of Alchemica, but you could actually shoot hearts at one another and your health bars would take damage. And if you got wiped out, your Alchemicas that were in your loot bag, basically your live in-game bag, would be spilled all over. And so we're going to play around. When we say the social mode is a 2 weeks mode of experimentation, it really is. We're going to suspend some of the rules of the reality. The Citadel is usually a peaceful zone, but we'll have these events where maybe the hearts come back in a big way, and we'll have a bunch of fun together.
Absolutely. I saw yesterday it turned from a little bit of a panic in the beginning to oh my God, this is what the future has entailed. So this is going to be amazing. So that'll be an extremely fun event for everybody to intentionally be a part of.
Right. It's going to be better when everybody's prepared and ready. So with that said, look forward to some really cool events. That will not be the only event, but it's the only super confirmed one. The other dates will as usual. We'll see how the first one goes and then make adjustments on, we have a general idea what we think we want to do, but those are TBD. Then between now and then we get to May 18th. That's going to be the land release. And here you can see a mock-up of kind of how the tile, you see the golden tile laid down on top of a humble parcel. Then you see a humble parcel next to it that does not have the tile. So that's kind of the after and the before. They both have golden altars. One of them has a level 1. That's why it's a shorty. And on the other, the golden one, you see that's a full level 9 golden altar. So if this is new to you, you're wondering, this is a bit like a Clash of Clans type of casual gameplay where you're crafting installations to improve your land, and then you're upgrading them over time with
a major improvement that every single installation is an NFT.
Yeah, I have to preface though, this is a bit this particular image is a bit far-reaching in that a lot of the builds you see here, this is a first look at the walls and the reservoirs, a lot of things here. Those will not all be available on May 18th. On May 18th, the focus is on installing those both normal and golden altars onto your parcel. So we're starting there. And the tiles. You'll be able to install any tiles that you've crafted. So that starts on May 18th. Why would you want to do install those golden altars? Let's just jump to that. Golden altars unlock a very special way of earning Alchemica called Alchemica channeling, where there's basically you go up to it with your Aavegotchi on a parcel you own, and you're able to engage with that installation and say, basically, I want to channel. And you can do this like once every 24 hours. There's a cooldown period, 24 hours per Gotchi. And each Gotchi can do a channeling session, which will unlock your Alchemica. It will spawn. Some of it will spawn directly into your wallet on-chain. It's an on-chain event. And then a certain percent will spawn onto the floor in your vicinity. And so your neighbors might be able to steal a bit from you. It's not stealing because it's not yours. This comes from the gods. But it's kind of a rain dance. And so these are raining down, and you're able to earn a good portion of them and also feed your neighborhood. So here you can see the Alchemica received per channeling. If you're taking good care of your Aavegotchi and it has high kinship, you actually get a kinship multiplier. So instead of getting the base of 20 FUD, 10 FOMO, 5 alpha, 2 Keck, you start to see a modifier as soon as you hit baseline of 50 kinship. And it only goes up from there. So all you out there who are taking good care of your Aavegotchis and they have great relationships with you, they're going to have a much healthier channeling session than a neglected Aavegotchi. So props to all the on-chain caretakers. Yep, so that's going to be key because you want all of that, because then you can go to the crafting table and start crafting these rare NFTs. Quick reminder on the release dates for these. Golden tile number 1 is already out and being crafted, but 2 weeks after April 20, that marks the end of the opportunities to craft it. Then we go to tile number 2, and it's basically a trilogy. It ends on May 18th when the land release goes live. We'll be also shipping the beginning of Le Golden Tile number 3, the only one that is pure solid gold. So saving the best for last.
Yeah, just reiterating that, everybody, these tiles are only available in 2-week periods. So in 2 weeks, the Le Golden Tile number 1 will not be available. So you got a little bit of time yet to craft your first one if you would like that for the rest of eternity.
And I would just wrap up here by saying, a couple of big things to look forward to in the land release. We didn't touch on the size of the gameplay map very much. And so currently we have 2 districts live. Both of those districts are live. They were chosen to go first because there was no land sale there. So it's like totally public land. And then we want to make sure when we do open it up further, everybody who's ever had who owns a parcel, whether it be from a raffle or from a GBM auction, they should all have equal access at the same moment. So the dev team has been working very hard to make sure this scales out, and we'll be able to make the jump from 2 to something like 28 different districts, and eventually over 30. So it's going to be pretty ridiculous what we're able to do in terms of the size of the world, and it's going to dramatically affect the gameplay. It won't feel or look like the play drop, because you're going to be experiencing a world that is much, much greater. And the way that Alchemica will be distributed in this much bigger world is going to be much more organic. It's not a pre-programmed release schedule. It's instead driven by player activity via the Alchemica channeling. So every time there's channeling, like I said, some of it goes in your wallet, but then there's what we call spillover. And so every time there's a channeling event, there will be spillover, and that is the primary method of distributing Alchemica on the surface of the map during the land release. So that's a big difference, and I think it's going to make for some very, very interesting gameplay. People might be wondering about the full farming and harvesters, and when can we start harvesting Alchemica from under the surface of the parcels. I'll just say we don't have an exact date yet, but that is kind of obviously the next step to follow the altars. So let's start on May 18th with the altars, start channeling, make sure everything's running super good there. Always keep in mind you're part of a DAO built game that is in pure alpha mode, and let's build it together. And we're getting better every day. I'm just like, I can't believe where we are. And then when I think about where we're going, and we're right on track.
Awesome.
The article ends with this, what about Gotchi lending? And those are, Gotchi lending is forever. So you can always borrow an Aavegotchi and jump in today by simply going to Aavegotchi.com and clicking on the Gotchi lending option, and get ready, get in your guild, or be a lone wolf, however you want to do it. But yeah, so much to do. And pretty soon here, we'll have a lot to talk about.
Awesome. Yeah, if you aren't already a subscriber, please hit that button, give us a follow, and be ready for some awesome updates in May. Super excited. And LFG GotchiGang.
That's right. LFG. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you in the Gotchiverse.